Good morning. Good morning to your new era of life. That's your SYJC. I did discuss with you in first half an hour what you ought to do in SYJC, why SYJC is very important from career point of view for a commerce student. So general dosage I have already given you. And now we begin with the subject called bookkeeping accountancy from SYJC point of view. Right? Well, the first chapter that we are going to discuss, we are going to deal is bills of exchange. This comes in Maharashtra board, HSC board exams, maximum 15 to 17 marks, and minimum there would be one question which is going to carry 10 marks. I will discuss all these things when I begin the chapter, because it is no more your college professor's monopoly. It is no more college paper pattern. It is Maharashtra board, HSC board pattern which we will follow. So here I know exactly they can ask problem of which chapter and how many marks and what is the weightage, blah blah blah. Right? So 15 to 17 marks obviously out of 80 marks written paper. Correct? So what is that we are going to learn in this chapter? Before we think about the word bills of exchange, let me remind you the two items that you used to see in your trial balance or in your final accounts problem in balance sheet asset side and balance sheet liability side, known as bills receivable and bills payable. That time we used to follow the logic. Bills receivable account is a personal account. It is having a debit balance. It represents amount receivable. So we used to record it asset side of the balance sheet. And bills payable exactly opposite. It's a personal account having a credit balance. It represents liability. So we used to record it in balance sheet liability side. Now, इसका जन्म हुआ कहाँ से, ये कौन है, in detail we would discuss. Right? Let us say Mr. B is a buyer who has been purchasing goods from Mr. A as a seller, and Mr. B is a regular customer of Mr. A, and he has been regularly buying goods from Mr. A on cash basis. साल 2 कंप्लीट हो गया, and one fine day Mr. B requested Mr. A कि भाई I have been your regular customer, and mind it, I am not buying goods for myself, but I am taking these goods and selling it some other place. So मेरे पैसे भी कभी कभी ब्लॉक हो जाते हैं. So this time when I want to buy goods from you, I am requesting you to give me a credit period of 15 days or 20 days. See, in today's world, credit sales and credit purchases is the most integral part. So it's not that the goods cannot be sold on credit. Yeah, goods cannot be purchased on credit. But the point is, एक 1.5 साल का रिश्ता between Mr. B and Mr. A, and up till now, whenever there is any purchase or sale transaction taking place between A and B, it was always on cash basis. For the first time, B requested Mr. A, tell me your gut feeling, क्या A B को मना कर सकता है? Looks very difficult. Very difficult. Because एक चीज तो पक्का है, if B requested Mr. A to sell the goods on credit, and if Mr. A refused to sell the goods to B on credit, B will go to somebody else. You may lose your customer. So practically, A does not want to lose the customer, but at the same time, it does not want to take the risk. Now what is the risk? Risk is once goods are sold by A to B on credit, there is a debtor-creditor relationship that will be established between A and B. A has to collect money from B. So A के लिए B is his debtor and B has to pay money to A. So A becomes his creditor. Now, Mr. A is little reluctant, although he understands in principle that 1-1.5 साल का रिश्ता है, रेगुलरली बी हैज बीन परचेजिंग गुड्स, तो भी उसको डर लगता है कि व्हाट इफ बी रिफ्यूज टू मेक द पेमेंट आफ्टर 2 months. यह डर उसको सता रहा है. सो ही इज ट्राइंग टू कन्विंस मिस्टर बी, प्लीज डोंट डू दिस. अभी तक अपना मस्त चल रहा था बिजनेस 1.5 साल से, यू बेटर बाई इट ऑन कैश बेसिस ओनली, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला. ये उनका डिस्कशन चल रहा था ना, वो जस्ट पासिंग. I overheard the conversation and I just told Mr. A कि भाई ये कौन सा तुम्हारा बिजनेस पॉलिसी है? हाँ, 1-1.5 साल से तुम्हारे शॉप में कोई कस्टमर आ रहा है, he has been regularly buying the goods, making the payment, you know him, you probably know now his business background, place of business, blah blah blah. So now you must trust Mr. B and you must sell goods on credit to Mr. B. It's a fair demand. He is not entering your shop for the first time or just 1 month before he has started buying the goods and then he is expecting credit. ए ने बोला सर आपकी बात बराबर है, लेकिन मेरे डर का क्या? तो मैं उसको बोला तो क्लास में नहीं आया ना, इसके लिए ये बोलता है, नहीं तो जनरली मेरा स्टूडेंट तो डायलॉग चिपका देता है, डर के आगे नीरज सर. सो व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन? सर डायलॉग थोड़ी मारने का हिंदी फिल्म का, वो भी चुराया हुआ. हाउ डू यू सॉल्व दिस? आई जस्ट टोल्ड मिस्टर ए, यू वांट प्रोटेक्शन, you want legal protection, you want to be very strong to recover money from B, and in case B refuse to make the payment, you want something in writing. So then probably you can take legal action against B. इन्हें बोला exactly. मैं बोला तो इनवॉइस तो बना देगा ना? बोला सर I will only make the invoice and I will give it to B. Original copy will go to B. The carbon copy will remain with me, so that may not be the right evidence. Yes, true. So मैंने बोला कोई नहीं, स्ट्रेस मत ले. I told Mr. A, I told who? Mr. A. To first mention the date. Then I asked him to mention his name. I asked Mr. A to write his address. Sir, आपने लिखा name of the drawer. Yeah, the one who draws this is drawer. So that's why I've written name of the drawer. Into bracket I will specify. ये drawer कौन है? In our example A. Right? Now what I am asking Mr. A to write on this piece of paper, I am asking A to write pay me or to my order, यानी to whomsoever I will ask, pay me or to my order a sum of rupees 10,000 only for value received. I will ask A to sign below this. At this piece of paper, this draft should be given by A to B, and then B will write accepted, mention the date of acceptance So sir, date of acceptance will be same as date of drawing the bill. I mean date of making this draft. Many times, but not necessarily. So he should also write the date of acceptance, and he should also sign below it on B. Now you tell me, ये जो ड्राफ्ट है जिसके ऊपर सिर्फ ए ने कुछ लिखा नहीं है बट बी हैज एक्सेप्टेड, ये सुनो, दैट विल रिमेन विद बी और इट हैज टू बी गिवन बाय बी टू ए. It has to be given by B to A. Because this draft is for whose protection? See, prima facie it is for A's protection, but eventually it is for business protection. Because with this in writing, A will be encouraged to sell goods to be on credit. So B का भी तो फायदा होगा ना. Business in general will get promoted or not. Now, I have specifically said that when A makes it, A is a drawer and B is the drawing, also known as acceptor, because B is accepting this. What is he accepting? That he has to pay A or to A's order a sum of rupees 10,000 only for the value that he has received. सर आप उल्लू बना रहे हो. हाँ बना ही रहा हूं क्योंकि इसमें लिखा ही नहीं मैंने क्या, आफ्टर हाउ मेनी मंथ्स, आफ्टर हाउ मेनी डेज, आफ्टर हाउ मेनी वीक्स. यस, सो द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट आई विल मेंशन इज आफ्टर 2 months और आफ्टर 2 बोलो weeks or after 2 days. So there has to be time period mentioned. Remember, when A draws this, that is A makes this, and B does not sign on it, will it have any value? कल को प्रजास ने मुझे लेक्चर में बहुत सताया. बैठे बैठे मैंने एक बिल बना दिया, ड्राफ्ट बना दिया. Pay after 1 day, pay me or to my order a sum of rupees 10 lakhs only for the value received. And Prajas obviously did not pay, so I go to the court and I try to take a legal action against Prajas. So that is not possible. This paper has no value unless Prajas accepts the same. And Prajas will not accept by saying me WhatsApp message, thumbs up, I am with you. No. So how Prajas will accept? First he will write accepted. He will mention the date and then he will sign below it. जैसे प्रजास ने एक्सेप्ट किया यानी साइन किया, डेट मेंशन किया, दिस ड्राफ्ट इज नो मोर अ ड्राफ्ट बट इट हैज बिकम अ वैलिड बिल्स ऑफ exchange. With this draft being accepted by B against this paper, against this bill, B will be liable to pay a sum of rupees 10,000. So naturally, for A, it is bills बोलो receivable, and for Mr. B it will be बोलिए 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 bills payable. So have you understood where the janam of bills receivable and bills payable comes into the picture? Bills receivable यानी that bill against which I have to collect money from Roy, and bills payable यानी that bill against which I have to make payment to drawer. Am I very clear? So on this draft, who writes terms and conditions which are mutually decided between A and B? A will write it. And A will write it and keep that paper with him? No, then then it has no value. A has to give this paper to whom? B. B has to accept it. That's why B is a drawee as well as acceptor, the one who accepts the conditions put in by A. Righto, righto. So last time I am discussing, when A writes it on a piece of paper, the terms which are mutually decided between A and B and gives it to B, that time, does this draft has any monetary value? No, it is just a piece of paper. But the moment B will sign on it, that is B will accept, then it will have a value worth rupees 10,000. Of course, it shows liability for Mr. B, that is payable towards A, and for A it is receivable from B. Am I very loud and clear? Up till now कोई टेंशन, कोई ट्विस्ट, कुछ नहीं, सिंपल बात कर रहा हूं मैं. It's understanding between seller and buyer. There is a credit sale happening, there is a credit purchase happening. So seller wants some protection, so seller just expects buyer to accept what was decided between them as terms and conditions, right? A is selling goods to B on credit of rupees 10,000. A is the seller, B is the buyer as discussed. So B has to pay money to A, so he becomes creditor. A has to collect money from B, so he becomes a debtor. Yes or no? Now, Mr. Drawer, that is A, will draw a bill, means make the bill, means write the terms and conditions on a piece of paper and give it to B, who is a drawee, acceptor. The moment B will sign on it, B will accept it, it has become valid bill of exchange, which is for A, bills receivable, and for B, it is known as bills payable. Understood? Up till now, are things clear? Yes. This is a very short discussion, but I am giving you 2 minutes to go through this and then decide whether I can discuss further or not. So 2 minutes belongs to you. Just go through it. If you have any question, आपको ना आज इसके आगे का सोचना है, ना इसको छोड़ के और कुछ सोचना है. Right? Yeah, your time starts now.